So smart.
Okay.
That's how
All
it
right.
works.
All right, clap
Okay.
again.
Can I start?
Yes.
No, clap.
All right. 自己紹介.
Hello, konnichiwa. There goes another picture. 私は Yan です。22歳ですけど only for a couple more days. LOL. Happy birthday, future Yan. Anyways, Texas 出身です. But I wish we had good sushi in Texas. I'm so funny. Anyways, so I'm one of the interns from this year's Kyoto Stint or in team for 2023 to 2024, and one of the co-TLs for this year. I'm sure the other interns would also agree with this, but this year was a roller coaster of a year with many high highs and many low lows and many buffaloes in between. LOL. I could easily say that this year was the most difficult year of my life, but also the best and most growing year of my life. So, no regrets. Anyways, in these past 8 months of living in Japan, I have been taken away from many things that have brought me comfort, like my family, friends, church, epic community, my car, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, Share Tea, Spike Ball, well, grass for Spike Ball at least, and so much more. I knew mostly how to live my life in America, at least how to speak the language, how to travel to places, how to make friends and keep conversations up. And so coming to Japan, so many of those things were taken away from me, forcing me to redefine what it looked like to live a life that could only be sustained and satisfied in God's love. Without family, close friends, other than the ones that came with me, you know, like everyone's a close friend now, you know what I mean? But shout out everyone who came with me, by the way. I love my team. Yeah, so close friends, language ability, and so much more. I have had to truly trust and lean on God's calling for me to come to Japan, as well as trust and know that God is constant and never changing. The only person, you know, and thing that could... Oh, sorry. The only person and thing that could bring me full satisfaction. I never thought I was perfect, but, you know, this year made it even more clear of how imperfect I am and how broken I am, failing at so many different things that I thought I would be okay at, like marathon training, I quit that so quickly, pottery making, I'm awful at it, connecting with students, co-leading a team, and so much more. Everything was just so much harder, so much more tiring, and that's okay. My image of myself broke down in so many different ways, leading me to see truly how weak I am. But at mid-year, one of the speakers did share something along the lines of, if dependence on God is the goal, then maybe weakness is an advantage. So this year I learned that I have had a great advantage to depending and knowing God, and I'm so thankful for the roller coaster experiences that I've had this year. Next question.
Wait, which question did you answer with that?
How this year has been? I don't know.
Oh,
I just started
Do
talking.
you want to do a message to your future
Yeah.
self now?
Alright, do I clap again, guys?
No,
No.
we
Just keep going. Okay,
Also,
sounds...
widen the set, everybody, as much as we can.
Yes,
It's
and
like
you can
the
talk a
frogs
little
outside.
slower as well.
Yeah, it's really fast.
I'm really fast?
Yeah. And
Okay.
You can slow down, you know, enunciate.
Enunciate. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, message to your past self, message to your future self.
Okay.
Either or both.
I'll do both. How much time do I have left?
You're at 5 minutes right now.
Wow,
And so,
I'm so fast. Okay.
Yeah, all the like 4.
Okay. So, a message to my past self. Hey Yan, you're so silly. Not stupid, but you're so silly. Because you came into this year thinking that you would have the time of your life, which is true. But also, you forgot that there were a lot of things that you would struggle with. And a lot of those weaknesses and struggles that come out with living with family at home also come out living with your team and really living life only knowing 5 other people in a country that's so far away. But good job of being so enthusiastic. You really brought people in with you, you know. But yeah, just was great, but next time, try to be more normal about it, level-headed about it. I don't know. But good job for coming, because this is a great choice. Good job, good job. Affirmation, self-affirmation. Yeah, that's my message to my old self. Wait, past self, past self. Future self, though. Hey, future Yan, you're so old. And that's okay, because in the grand scheme of things, you're not that old compared to the rest of the world. But anyways, I hope you never forget, these 8 months in Japan, or a little over 8 months. I hope you continue to remember all the lessons that you've learned, all the ways that you've really been broken down, because even when you go back to America, life is still going to be tough. You're going to be filled with struggle, and even though you have so much hope for being back in America, knowing the language and knowing things, it's still going to suck. But God has called you there for a reason. God has great plans for you, and you have people that love you, like the team. Hopefully, this is also a reminder to reach out to the rest of the team, because who knows if they're still going to be texting you and calling you, so it's up to you to text and call them too. But yeah, so make sure that you remember that you're loved by God, and only God can sustain and satisfy you. And He also provides so many different things that may look very different than your original expectations, and that will be good, because God has good plans. 사랑해. I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm done.
Alright. Nice.
That was great. That was really good.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Clap for us. Alright, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Joel Lau. I am the other amazing TL of this crazy team from Hawaii. I am not from Texas A&M. That is why I am an A&M grandpa and an A&M Aggie. Yeah, happy to be here. I'm from Hawaii. Did I mention that? Got a cute dog. Okay.
That's good. Thank you, Joe. Alright, so I want to hear what has been a really difficult thing for you this year.
Yeah, well, as I like to say, as I coined myself, everything I was afraid of came true. I thought of that myself, no inspiration. But yeah, everything I was most scared of came true. And essentially, the sins, the things I was most shameful of, and I was most scared of people finding out. People found out. Of course, they found out in a very different way than I thought they would find. I was scared they would find out in. God is so gentle and kind that He allowed me the chance to confess, and to take His forgiveness for myself and really experience firsthand what it really means to live as a forgiven child of God. To really know His love and His grace and His kindness and His mercy through His word and through His presence, but also really through the people around me and through my parents, and the ways they forgave me and loved me. And that was honestly the thing I was the most scared to do in my life. Probably the thing I was most scared of. And the thing that happened and the thing that God used to do the most good He has ever done to me. Period. And that happened this year. And that's crazy. And it's the reason why I'm coming back. So yeah, it's the hardest thing, but honestly the best thing. So don't have to ask me the next question. 2 in 1. No, please ask me the next question.
Okay. What has been a really good experience, or maybe even what has been your greatest joy this year?
It's been really interesting to be here as a second year. I'm sure that Thomas and Vicky will begin to figure it out, or maybe feel similarly next year. It's a very different experience. You come back to a foundation for your experience that's already been set. You already have these connections, these relationships that you have built up for a year. I kind of left last year a little bit, unsatisfied with where they were. Here in Japan, relationship is everything, and it takes time. It takes a lot of time to build trust, to break through that outer wall, from that tatamae to that hone, the outer face to the inner self. And one of the greatest joys, pleasures of being here as a second year is I've had the opportunity of longer time and the perspective that brings, and the relationships that brings. One of my favorite pictures, maybe it's here, maybe it's not, but one of my favorite pictures is a picture of me and Seichiro, because I just really think that picture has, it captures what 2 years of relationship has built, that we've been able to grow in faith together, that I've been able to see God challenge him in his faith, that he has grown in his love for God and love for others, and his even willingness to begin thinking about reaching others with Christ, evangelism. Just the fact that we are so much more comfortable around each other, that he is more comfortable around me, that took time, but it is honestly one of the greatest joys of having been here for 2 years.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that.
It is awesome, isn't it? God is pretty cool.
Yeah, you brought you back here and you come back again. If you were to give a message to, maybe yourself before coming into this year, what would you tell yourself?
Yeah, I tell myself, chill the F out, Joel. Chill out, and you'll be fine. You don't got it, and God expects that you don't got it. Because us not getting it, us not having everything under control is where God enters in, both in our own lives and in the lives of the people that maybe it feels like depend on us. I'm learning that now. I'm learning that today, here at Debrief, that it's okay. God doesn't call us to be Jesus. We could never be Jesus. We could never be perfect. We could never be God. But it's okay. Depend on him. And God will work things out, because he promises so. He promises to work all things out for the good of those who love him. He promised to equip those who go out and spread his word. He promises to bring to completion the work he's begun to us in the day of Jesus Christ. And none of those promises depend on us. And I'm learning that. And I wish I knew that really earlier. And I kind of hope I'll know that in the future as well.
Perfect. And going into your future, what is a message that you would tell your future self? Maybe the Joel who's on staff.
You married yet? Have you known a woman? That aside, cut that aside. Yeah. Maybe for my future self, it's look back. Who are the people in your life that God has used to make you the person you are now? Take out your phone, scroll through your messages, see all the messages you haven't responded to, respond to them, tell them that you love them, and thank you for being a part of your life. That's it.
Beautiful. Owari. Alright, clap for us. Okay, Vicky. Please introduce yourself.
Wait, do I have to do it in Japanese?
You don't have to.
No.
I'm like,
Okay.
you gotta keep that in the thing, because that's very Vicky. I'm just Konnichiwa. My name is Vicky, but I go by Mickey in Japan because it sounds better than Vicky, which also means discount. And I'm really honored to be a part of this past stint year, to be a part of this team that has become a family. And
I'm gonna cry the rest of the video, and that's okay. That's me.
Alright. Nice to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Mm.
Um,
Nice to meet you too.
tell me about a hard experience for you this year. Something that really challenged you, or something that you really had to rely on God for.
Like, only one? I'm just kidding.
As many as you want.
But yeah, this year has been a hard one, that's for sure. And yeah, I think there were so many times when I was like, this is so uncomfortable, this is so painful, I want to get out. But God, like, really used all those spaces.
I'm already gonna put in my line because we knew this was gonna happen.
But yeah, I think coming to Japan, I realized how much of a blessed life I had in America, not just in terms of material things, but just having so much support. I had my family and friends and just so many great people around me and examples to look up to. And yeah, just coming to Japan, even though I could still text a lot of people and call them, it wasn't the same. And Japan really can be a lonely place. And yeah, I really felt like I used to have so much confidence in my friendships, being someone who was generally always had friends. I was popular. I never really struggled with not having friends. And so of course I came to Japan with my friends, so I didn't think that was gonna be a problem. But yeah, during our time here, I got to see my friendships with people really shaken, and things that I once held so secure really fell through my grasp. And yeah, I really could see how God truly is the only one that we can always rely on. And as much as people want to be there for you, they're human and they will fail and they will disagree with you and they'll be annoyed by you and they'll not want to talk to you, and that's just part of life. And so I'm really grateful that God took down the idol that I had of friendships and just being secure in my relationships with people. It's they're so important and they can make an eternal difference, but also that is not what has saved me. God alone has saved me, and so I can put my trust in Him. And so yeah, that really was hard this past year. Yeah, it made me really doubt myself and question who I am as a person, because it was such a deep part of my identity. And so I'm really grateful that God, took away the sandy or shaky foundation that I had and replaced it with Himself.
Now that you've come out to the other side of that, what is a really great thing about this year, or something that brought you a lot of joy, just being here?
Yeah. There's a girl named Hima who I was able to disciple, and I'm I don't even feel fit to be called her discipler, because she's so spiritually mature, and yeah, she taught me so much and she ministered to me. So I'm really grateful for the ways that God used me when I don't even deserve to have that role or that title. And yeah, she was a girl who grew up in a Christian family in Japan, which is really rare and really special. And it was cool to see her continually grow in her faith, to want to learn more in her own walk with God, and to learn different ways to pray, different ways to talk about the Bible, and also to see her share her faith with her friends and with strangers on campus too. And yeah, we got to share so much of our life together. I also I had a lot of skin issues when we first came to Japan, and they were just such a bother because
I like couldn't get away from it. It's on my skin. And so I would share with her, and she also had struggled with it before, and it was something that made her really insecure in the past. And so I thought it was really like special and sweet how God used something like my skin to help me relate to the student and have our stories intertwined. Yeah, and this past semester, or like the last semester, she graduated, and it was so sad to see her off. I like cried so much before and after she left, because I was like, I'm gonna miss her so much. But it was really awesome to be able to send her out. She went back to her hometown in Ehime, and yeah, has a vision for reaching young adults in her community there, and maybe launching a movement, whatever that looks like in her hometown. And I'm so amazed at how God has given us a little glimpse of what He's doing in Japan, and how this is like so much bigger than what me or the six of us can do on our own. It's like so much evidence that it's God at work.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. We're seeing in a couple minutes left still. What's a message that you doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay. What's a message that you would want to tell yourself before you came on this year, and before you experienced all this, like hardship and all these great things as well?
Yeah, I think I would tell my past self, be kind to yourself and be kind to your teammates. Yeah, everyone has flaws and is struggling, and you can be kind to them. And also, to know that you're strong because God is with you, and going through hard things will also make you stronger too. Just trust. Trust the process.
And what is one thing that you would tell your future self, maybe as you're coming back next year, maybe to yourself as you're back in Japan, or maybe even further down the road?
To my future self, keep being crushed by God, keep being broken over and over again by Him, and let Him continue to rebuild you over and over. It's tough, but it's sweet, and it'll be good. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that was like really, everything you shared was really precious. So. Yes, thank you.
以上です。
You did.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, clap. Alright, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Hannah. If I could introduce myself in Nihongo, I would. But I can try. Watashi wa no, never mind. Whatever, I give up. That's why I can't speak Japanese. Anyways, I am right now I am the youngest person on the team. And I went to Texas A&M also. Any other important facts about me? I'm not sure, but yeah. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, thank you for introducing yourself. So first thing I wanted to ask was, and this could be a heavy question, but what was like the hardest experience for you this year? Something that was really challenging, and something that you really had to rely on God for?
Yeah, that's I think like a very loaded question, because I think a lot of hard things happened this year. But I think one of the hardest, and Joel says this too in his video, but of describing Stint, and Vicky said it too, so I don't know who said it first, but someone did. But they said that Stint basically was where everything that they were afraid of like happened. And I think that really resonated with me when they said that. And I reflected on my year, and I think that did really happen. Yeah, I was really lonely. It was hard to adjust. Friendships are hard with people back home. And then one of my biggest fears was my gong passing away when I was gone. And I don't want to cry. Anyways, and so yeah, that did happen. And I had to go back home to America suddenly during our state year, I guess. And that was really hard. Yeah, to know that I gave a year of my life to following what I felt God calling me to, by Him still, I guess, not really taking away or wanting my gong to go back to heaven, to be with Him. Yeah, and that's still something that I'm clearly wrestling with still. But yeah, so I think that's probably been the hardest thing this year, is that losing someone that I loved. And so yeah, that's all.
Yeah. A little off topic, but could you tell me like a really good memory that you had with him?
Really good memory I had with Gong. I think that's kind of hard, because when I think back on life with him, I think about like his support for me, his willingness to kind of get on board with anything that I was doing, even if he didn't like it. He was born in China, and his family and his life was impacted by the Japanese, and so he had a lot of feelings of resentment, bitterness towards them. And so when I was growing up, he would always like talk trash about the Japanese people, and we'd be like, it's okay, Gong Gong, like there's still people, it's okay. And so when I was going on stint to Japan, even though he had dementia and he wasn't really fully there, I was a little afraid of his reaction, that he would maybe start spouting stuff again. But he was really supportive, and he was happy that I was going. And I think that represents a lot of who Gong Gong was. He was a family man, and he really loved his family, and supported whatever they wanted, even if he felt a little like bitterness towards it. He really just wanted to see us happy, and he really believed in us doing what God calls us to. So yeah, I guess that's why I can't really regret going on stint. Also, I don't regret it, even if he didn't want me to go. But yeah, I really appreciated how he was always supporting and loving me no matter what I did. And I think, yeah, he reflected Christ a lot, like that, because God still loves us in spite of who we are. So yeah, I'm very lucky to have experienced a love Earthside in person like that. So
Yeah. I think that's very vulnerable. And I think you had so many like hard memories this year. Yeah, and so like, yeah, it's really sad that you had to have one as hard as that one. What has been like a really good thing for you this year? Like something that was like really joyful for you to be here?
yeah, two things. I think being in Kyoto, like I didn't look up pictures of the city before I came. I feel like I should have done that maybe, but I didn't. And so, but all I knew were the pictures that were on Ryan's like slideshows that he gave us to kind of explain to us what ministry was like in Japan that he used for his supporters. So all I knew was like Kiyomizu-dera Temple. But Kyoto is such a beautiful city, with mountains, with a river, and we don't have that in Texas. And so I think that has been like such a joyful experience, being able to experience God's creation in such a vibrant way. Live with seasons, see fall, see snow falling just randomly as you're biking. It's just like a magical city. Sounds very honeymoon esque, I guess, in that stage. But yeah, I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to live in such a like breathtaking city. And then also just being able to experience deep community with my teammates, especially the interns. Just getting to be able to share the deepest parts of me, and still knowing that I'll be pursued and loved regardless of how I'm struggling. They'll still want to hear from me and want to meet me where I am. And I think that has been like such a life-changing experience, to experience that kind of support and love that only Jesus can help us have. But I've been really blessed to be able to experience that from people my age, and to just be loved deeply in spite of who I am.
It's beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Slay. Tell me a message that you would say to yourself 1 year ago before you came to Kyoto, maybe even before you started support raising.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have too many expectations for this year, honestly. But looking back on before I came to Japan, I think that Hannah was living kind of in a magical world of just like ease and fun. And I think since then I've experienced a lot of stress and anxiety like every day, just a lot of pressure and emotional, mental, physical stress. But what I would say to my past self is that what God calls us to will always be good. And so like you might not know what you're headed into, but you know the God that you're going into it with, and he promises never to forsake us, and he will be with us till the end of the ages. And so you don't know what you're going into, but it will be sweet and it will be good. That's all.
And a message to your future self.
I wonder how you're liking Lone Star, because it's probably not that great. But if it is, praise God. If it's not, still praise God, but I told you so. So hopefully connecting with students in America is at least a little easier than connecting with students in Japan. And even if it's not, you got this and you can keep going because you have people that love you and a God that loves you. Make sure you're still running, and hopefully you start climbing again so you can get stronger again, because I think you lost all your muscle on stint, and that is a tragedy. But hopefully you're big and buff now, and that you've found somewhere to like pour out your love that's outside work, maybe in church or I don't know, something like that. I hope you're involved, and Oh, also that you're forgiving your parents every day, even if it's hard. So yeah. Anyways, that's it. Okay, I'm done.
Sit on the floor.
Okay, you can just clap now. All right, hello.
Hello?
Thanks for coming to this interview. Can you just introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, so my name is Jimin. I am a member of this team. Yeah, and I don't really know what I'm doing here. I think God really brought me to Japan. And I was just, yeah, like, I'm very glad to be part of this, and I wouldn't give up this experience for anything really. Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah. Can you share about some of the hardest things that you've experienced this year? I know there's a lot, but if you could share a few with us, what would they be?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there have been like so many hard experiences this year, and I thought that it would be actually like really easy before I came here. I've had my fair share of hard things that I've gone through, and so I thought this would be a piece of cake. Yeah, but I think I soon realized that after coming here, like everything was just difficult. I thought language would come a lot easier. I thought sharing with people, sharing about Jesus would come a lot easier. In a place where I don't know anyone. I thought I would, yeah, be so confident to do that. And yeah, there's so many things that were like really difficult. Like I think I had like so much like inner turmoil, inner conflict. I was like trying to figure out myself. I'm like who am I? Like, what is my purpose in life? I think I just like really felt a lot, and I also like, I think living with people and doing life with people, I was like, it was really difficult, and yeah, I really like learned so much about myself and who I am. Yeah, so honestly, like everything was difficult. Every time I went on campus, like I think I felt like a deep weight. I was like constantly like I'm like, oh, like I'm not doing enough. Like I'm not like, there's more students that I could text, like, or like it's like I can reach out to more people, or and just like the pressure. I'm like, oh, we're gonna go sharing. Like sharing is so hard in a language that I don't speak. Like approaching like people that like I don't know what their opinions on religion are. Like I don't know if they even understand what I'm saying, because I'll talk in English/Japanese, and they don't even know what Christianity is sometimes. Some people have never heard of it, and so it's just like, yeah, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. Yeah, and so I think just like every day was like difficult, and when things got better, like it got hard again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so real. But in spite of that, what are some of the greatest joys that you've been able to experience here?
Yeah. Um, yeah, there's so many. I think the one that I think of is like just the beauty that Kyoto has. In Japan has like I can open my window and I see mountains, and I see fog, and I see like beautiful like houses. Yeah, and where I'm from, in Texas, like there's nothing. It's just everything's flat. And so I think I've been able to witness like so much beauty that I am like I just don't know what to do with. Like I'm just like anywhere you go in the city, like especially during like sakura season, you can watch like because like there's sakura everywhere, and it's just like it's the most like magnificent thing you've ever seen. Like when you're walking, like beneath a row of sakura, and it's just like everything is white. It's just magical. Yeah, so I think the beauty and the other really big one is like the team. I think I came in with a lot of like anxieties and like I think I felt really like I felt a deep like loneliness inside of me that I'm like I feel like even though I know there's people that love me, like I didn't really feel loved, and I didn't really feel seen. And I saw these people around me that had felt like they had more friends than me, or they people knew them more, and I just felt like so like yeah like unknown and unwanted. Yeah, I think the team like they really met me in my struggles and my hardships, and they showed me what it was to really be loved by people and be seen in a way that I wanted to be seen. And it's like, even though like we will all go our separate ways, like I will remember this for the rest of my life, like the love that I was shown by them and how I really felt cared for. Yeah, and like it's like people that I didn't really expect to go that close to. I'm like so thankful that I got to do this with them. Yeah, so it's really like a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity, and I know that I will not experience something like this in this way again. Yeah, like we went to 4 different countries, like including Japan, and did so much together, and like yeah, like just like so many memories that I would like hold on to and cherish for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it was a great year. Yeah, thinking about, I guess, all the challenges and joys that you've been able to experience, what would you say to yourself before you start this, your naive self that you're talking about?
Yeah, like before I came here, I was like, this is gonna be easy. Like, I've moved before, I've lived by myself before. Like, I've done so many things like alone before, and like, I think I really took pride in that. I was like, I'm really independent. Even when I was like really sick, like I was like in the hospital by myself, and I said that I didn't like need my family. I think I would tell myself in the past, like Jimin, like I think you do need people. Like you don't, like you're not just like some like robot who's able to function well without needing other people. You're a human being that needs and wants to be loved by people, and wants to be seen by them, and yeah, wants to be wanted by them. And so just embrace that. Like that is what it means to be human. Is yeah, to be known and loved.
It's so beautiful. I love that. And so next year you'll be in Tokyo, in Japan still, but a totally new environment. And so, guess going through all these experiences, knowing what you know now, your own weaknesses and your strengths, what would you want to say to your future self?
Yeah. Jimin, I know that you have to make a lot of decisions next year. Right now, I'm hoping that you make decisions that will at least determine your life for the next couple of years, and provide some more stability, I hope. Yeah, but I guess to my future self, I hope that I will still have patience to know that, like, yeah, I don't have to have it all figured out. even next year when I know that I'll be confused and wondering what I should do, whether I should stay in Japan longer or go back to America. Yeah, I hope that I can trust in the Lord's leading in that, as well as cliche as it is, to follow yeah, my own like passions and my own desire. Yeah, because that is also really important. So it's okay, Gina. I know you're not gonna have it figured out, not for a while, and maybe not for the rest of your life, and that is completely okay. Yeah.
Amazing. Beautiful letter to yourself. All right. Hello. Can
Hello.
you introduce yourself? Sorry, not us. Introduce yourself to us.
Yeah, hello, my name is Thomas, and I'm also a member of this team. Actually, I didn't know that I was going to be coming on Stint until like maybe February, so like 1 month before the application, but saw how God really called me to Stint, just how He moved past 5 years of my college to bring me to this point, and so
Well, we're really glad that God called you here to be on a team with us. So thinking about your year, what is one of the hardest things that have happened, or a couple, whatever you would like to share with us?
So am I just supposed to look at Hannah?
Yeah, but you can look around if you want. It doesn't.
Yeah, I looked up at God. I'm just kidding. I just looked up at
Yeah, yeah. It's like yeah.
Okay.
hardest thing that you'd like to share with us.
I think one of the hardest things that happened this past year is actually before Stint. Yeah, maybe about like 10 months ago. Yeah, actually like maybe 8 or so years ago, I prayed to God that He would, like wreck my life so I could know Him more. And last summer, in the middle of sport racing and preparing to come to Stint, there are a lot of things that happened, and I lost my relationship with my girlfriend, and I was told that I couldn't come to Japan because of certain things, and that it just felt like God took everything away from me, and just felt lots of shame and disappointment in myself, like I had failed everyone around me, and that like I wasn't this like put together person and this smart and like great person that people thought I was. So really it was like the lowest point of my life, but it just happened to be this past year as well. And so yeah, that like I had just felt the most alone I felt ever in my life. But like God really showed me that He was there for me, despite feeling that no one else around me was there for me and could know those parts about me. And so yeah, God really showed me that He cared about me enough to allow me to be hurt, so that I could know Him better and draw closer to Him. And yeah, I had always been this like put together person and person that people could depend on, but I never really truly cared holistically for like myself. And so like God showed me that like he did love me so much to where he was willing to like break my life so that I could truly know him better. And so yeah, I think that allowed me to, I don't know, adjust maybe a little easier to Japan and allow me to be there more for my teammates. But yeah, just in the summer was like, definitely the hardest because I felt like God had taken everything like away from me. So yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget about the things that happened before. But I guess going through this past year and experiencing all the hardship, or the amount of hardship that I experienced, and then hearing you share about your hardship that happened before, when like I feel like we were all pretty naive about hardship, makes me sad for you back then, because I think, yeah, we just didn't understand and couldn't be there to support you. So yeah, thanks for sharing. But yeah, in spite of that, I know that this year has also been really good. And so what are some of the greatest joys that you've been able to experience on Stint?
Yeah, I don't think I can pick one. I think there's lots of things that happened this year that really have been like so good. It was like I could just like list so many. Lots of firsts for me. Like I was born in Taiwan, but I moved to the US when I was 2 and never went back to Taiwan or left the US since going to the US. And so like we traveled to like 4 different countries this year. Like 3 years ago I didn't get I was supposed to go on a summer mission trip to Japan actually, and didn't we didn't get to go because of COVID, and so we still met some students that went to university in Kyoto. So like this past year we got to meet some of them, and this is a picture of one of them. His name is Taichi, and he's been a good friend this year so far, and actually he's been to church with me a couple times, and he just asked like really good questions, and like yeah, like it was really crazy to see how God like just worked through so many things in my life to like make those things happen. And also like yeah, I got to come to Japan with like some really great friends of mine that I have known for like the past like 4 years of my life, and yeah, it's not very common that you get to do this kind of thing and come like go overseas and enter this like really challenging time with people that you're so close to and that you know. Yeah, I would say another thing is getting to go to Taiwan. During our vacation, I got to see my grandma for the first time since moving away, which I don't even remember her face since because I was 2. So yeah, and my mom was actually there as well, and she and my aunt got to take our team around Taiwan and just spend time, and it was really cool because my family, like I didn't spend that much time with my family like growing up, so that was sweet. But then also getting to enter into like or to see my mom like yeah, just struggle with like her mom not knowing the Lord, and just being able to like hear that from her and just be able to even pray with her and talk about that with her was really sweet, and made me really grateful for how God, like my own story, like how God saved my parents, and like how I grew up in a Christian household, and yeah, just lots of like reflecting and seeing the Lord like provide so much for my life through what He's called me to this year. So
That's awesome. So cool, all the opportunities you've had here. Okay, now what would you say to your past self? Maybe even in the midst of the hardest time you had of this past year.
That's hard. I would say that you matter, and people care about you, and that you don't always have to seem put together for the people in your life. It's okay to feel things and to have emotions, and yeah, that God cares more for you than you could, and He knows better for you. So yeah, it's funny because as we're recording this, I actually feel a little under the weather, but I always tell people around me that I never get sick. So I felt like that was pretty ironic, speaking that now, because I think in the past Thomas, you always felt that you were really good at things. You could pick up things really well. Like, you understood things fast. You were decently smart in school. You didn't have to try that much. I mean, you barely tried, and like you like graduated with above a 3 and like barely put any work in engineering. So yeah, but just wanted to say that, like, yeah, that every part of you matters, and that people care about you, and that God truly cares even about the smallest things.
So true. That's good. And now what would you say to your future self, maybe to yourself when you're back in Kyoto doing your second year with a new team? Well, basically a new team, and yeah, new experience. What would you say?
Yeah, well, I hope you're doing well, future me, and I don't know when you would be watching this. Maybe you would watch it multiple times actually throughout the year, but I hope you're having a good year so far. Like, without your old team, even though I'm sure you miss them a lot, like, yeah, I hope Spikeball Club is going strong and well, and that you can actually play sports in Japan, and that you're not so anxious about the future and what it holds. You're probably 24 when you're watching this, and you always told yourself it'd be nice to get married at 26 or 27, and by the time you leave it'll be 25. You'll be 25, so don't worry about that too much. Like, there's so many things in your life that God has done and proven to you that He truly cares about you and your future and your growth and your just your whole self more than you do. And so even if you don't know what tomorrow holds, that God holds tomorrow and that He holds you. And I want to read like a prayer that helped you when you were going through a really hard time last year. It's called the Serenity Prayer, and so it says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. Taking, as Jesus did, the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, and so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. And lastly, you always, for your whole life, felt disconnected to your dad and to your family, and so I hope that if you haven't at this point, to take some steps to get closer to him and your brother and your mom. Oh, and if you are not journaling consistently, you should do that.
Amazing.